Ezekiel chapter 17. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, put forth a parable, and speak a proverb unto the house of Israel, and say, Thus saith the Lord God, The great eagle with great wings, and long wings, and full of feathers, which had divers colors, came unto Lebanon, and took the highest branch of the cedar, and brake off the top of his twig, and carried it into the land of merchants, and set it in a city of merchants. He took also of the seed of the land, and planted it in a fruitful ground, placed it by great waters, and set it as a willow tree. And it budded up, and was like a spreading vine of low stature, whose branches turned towards it, and the roots thereof were under it. So it became a vine, and brought forth branches, and shot forth buds. There was also another great eagle, with great wings and many feathers. And behold, this vine did turn her roots toward it, and spread forth her branches toward it, that she might water it by the trenches of her plantation. It was planted in a good soil by great waters, that it should bring forth branches, and bear fruit, and be an excellent vine. Say thou, Thus saith the Lord God, Shall it prosper? Shall he not pull up the roots thereof, and destroy the fruit thereof, and cause them to dry? All the leaves of her bud shall wither, without great power, or many people, to pluck it up by the roots thereof. Behold, it was planted, but shall it prosper? Shall it not be dried up and wither? And the east wind shall touch it, shall wither in the trenches where it grew. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Say now to this rebellious house, Know ye not what these things mean? Tell them, Behold, the king of Babel is come to Jerusalem, and hath taken the king thereof, and the princes thereof, and led them with him to Babel, and hath taken one of the king's seed, and made a covenant with him, and hath taken an oath of him. He hath also taken the princes of the land, that the kingdom might be in subjection, and not lift itself up, but keep their covenant, and stand to it. But he rebelled against him, and sent his ambassadors to Egypt, that they might give him horses and much people. Shall he prosper? Shall he escape that doeth such things? Or shall he break the covenant, and be delivered? As I live, saith the Lord God, he shall die in the midst of Babel, in the place of the king that had made him king, whose oath he despised, and whose covenant made with him he brake. Neither shall Pharaoh with his mighty host and great multitude of people maintain him in the war, when they have cast up mounts and built ramparts to destroy many persons. For he hath despised the oath, and broken the covenant. Yet lo, he hath given his hand. Because he hath done all these things, he shall not escape. Therefore thus saith the Lord God, As I live, I will surely bring mine oath that he hath despised, and my covenant that he hath broken, upon his own head. And I will spread my net upon him, and he shall be taken in my net, and I will bring him to Babel, and will enter into judgment with him there, for his trespass that he hath committed against me. And all that flee from him, with all his host, shall fall by the sword, and they that remain shall be scattered toward all the winds. And ye shall know that I, the Lord, have spoken it. Thus saith the Lord God, I will also take off the tops of his high cedar, and will set it, and cut off the top of the tender plant thereof. And I will plant it upon an high mountain, and great, even in the high mountain of Israel will I plant it. And it shall bring forth boughs, and bear fruit, and be an excellent cedar. And under it shall remain all birds, and every fowl shall dwell in the shadow of the branches thereof. And all the trees of the field shall know that I, the Lord, have brought down the high tree, and exalted the low tree, that I have dried up the green tree, and made the dry tree to flourish. I, the Lord, have spoken it, and have done it. Ezekiel chapter 18. The word of the Lord came unto me, saying, What mean ye that ye speak this proverb concerning the land of Israel, saying, The fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge? As I live, saith the Lord God, ye shall use this proverb no more in Israel. Behold, all souls are mine, both the soul of the Father, and also the soul of the Son are mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. But if a man be just, and do that which is lawful and right, and hath not eaten upon the mountains, neither hath lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, neither hath defiled his neighbor's wife, neither hath lain with a menstruous woman, neither hath oppressed any, but hath restored the pledge to his debtor, he that hath spoiled none by his violence, but hath given his bread to the hungry, and hath covered the naked with a garment, and hath not given forth upon usury, neither hath taken any increase, but hath withdrawn his hand from iniquity, and hath executed true judgment between man and man, and hath walked in my statutes, and hath kept my judgments to deal truly. He is just, he shall surely live, saith the Lord God. If he beget a son that is a thief, or a shedder of blood, if he do any one of these things, though he did not all these things, but either hath eaten upon the mountains, or defiled his neighbor's wife, or hath oppressed the poor and needy, or hath spoiled by violence, or hath not restored the pledge, or hath lifted up his eyes unto idols, or hath committed abomination, or hath given forth upon usury, or hath taken increase, shall he live? He shall not live, seeing he hath done all these abominations. He shall die the death, and his blood shall be upon him. But if he beget a son that seeth all his father's sins, which he hath done, and feareth, neither doeth such like, that hath not eaten upon the mountains, neither hath lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, nor hath defiled his neighbor's wife, neither hath oppressed any, nor hath withheld the pledge, neither hath spoiled by violence, but hath given his bread to the hungry, and hath covered the naked with a garment, neither hath withdrawn his hand from the afflicted, nor received usury, nor increase, but hath executed my judgments, and hath walked in my statutes. He shall not die in the iniquity of his father, but he shall surely live. His father, because he cruelly oppressed and spoiled his brother by violence, and hath not done good among his people, lo, even he dieth in his iniquity. Yet say ye, wherefore shall not the son bear the iniquity of the father? Because the son hath executed judgment and justice, and hath kept all my statutes, and done them, he shall surely live. The same soul that sinneth shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son, but the righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon himself. But if the wicked will return from all his sins that he has committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live, and shall not die. All his transgressions that he hath committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him. But in his righteousness that he hath done, he shall live. Have I any desire that the wicked should die, saith the Lord God? Or shall he not live, if he return from his ways? But if the righteous turn away from his righteousness, and commit iniquity, and do according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth, shall he live? All his righteousness that he hath done shall not be mentioned, but in his transgression that he hath committed, and in his sin that he hath sinned, in them shall he die. Yet ye say, the way of the Lord is not equal. Hear now, O house of Israel, is not my way equal, or are not your ways unequal? For when a righteous man turneth away from his righteousness, and committeth iniquity, he shall even die for the same. He shall even die for his iniquity that he hath done. Again, when the wicked turneth away from his wickedness that he hath committed, and doeth that which is lawful and right, he shall save his soul alive, because he considereth and turneth away from all his transgressions that he had committed. He shall surely live, and shall not die. Yet saith the house of Israel, the way of the Lord is not equal. O house of Israel, are not my ways equal, or are not your ways unequal? Therefore I will judge you, O house of Israel, every one according to his ways, saith the Lord God. Return therefore, and cause others to turn away from all your transgressions, so iniquity shall not be your destruction. Cast away from you all your transgressions, whereby ye have transgressed, and make you a new heart and a new spirit. For why will ye die, O house of Israel? For I desire not the death of him that dieth, saith the Lord God. Cause therefore one another to return, and live ye. Ezekiel chapter 19. Thou also take up a lamentation for the princes of Israel, and say, Wherefore lay thy mother as a lioness among the lions? She nourished her young ones among the lions' whelp, and she brought up one of her whelps, and it became a lion, and it learned to catch the prey, and it devoured men. The nations also heard of him, and he was taken in their nets, and they brought him in chains into the land of Egypt. Now when she saw that she had waited, and her hope was lost, she took another of her whelps and made him a lion, which went among the lions, and became a lion, and learned to catch the prey, and he devoured men. And he knew their widows, he destroyed their city, the land was wasted, and all that was therein by the noise of his roaring. Then the nations set against him on every side of the country, and laid their nets for him. So he was taken in a pit. They put him in prison and in chains, and brought him to the king of Babel. And they put him in hold, that his voice should no more be heard among the mountains of Israel. Thy mother is like a vine in thy blood, planted by the waters. She brought forth fruit and branches by abundant water. And she had strong rods for the scepters of them that bare rule, and her stature was exalted among the branches. She appeared in her height with the multitude of her branches, but she was plucked up in wrath. She was cast down to the ground, and the east wind dried up her fruit. Her branches were broken and withered. As for the rod of her strength, fire consumed it. And now she is planted in the wilderness, in a dry and thirsty ground. Fire is gone out of a rod of her branches, which hath devoured her fruit, so that she hath no strong rod to be a scepter to rule. This is a lamentation, and shall be for a lamentation.